Minnesota played really well. They hit some shots. And watching it, they had a lot of good shots. But I said before, that was a very well-coached team that had 7 games that they could have, should have won, and they would have won half of them. Then we wouldn't be feeling the same way you feel. But there's no question we didn't play as well. And then to lose Divine, you know, I mean, it's the 5th, and he'll have surgery next week, and he'll be done for the year. And so that means our 2 top transfers, one played a week in the practice and was out, and one played a little over half the year. And I feel for him. I mean, I don't know what the timetable is right now. He'll be good to go in the spring. But the saddest part is usually on those kind of injuries, you have like a stress reaction and you have pain in your foot. And he had none of that. It just happened. He turned and it went that way. So I'm not sure, you know, when he'll be ready to go, but it'll be after the season for sure. So for us, we need to regroup, get back on the floor. We've got a challenge ahead of us for sure on Saturday. I think Illinois, a lot of people think is the best team in the league. I mean, there's no doubt Michigan and Nebraska, still think Purdue are all very, very good teams, but Illinois brings something completely different to the table. You know, they made 11 threes a game is what they average. They've had a game when they've had 17 or 18 threes go in. Some of the three-point shooters are 7'2" and 7 foot. They're the biggest team we'll play with 7'2", 7 foot, 6'9", 6'8", and then they have 6'6" and 6'7" guards. So it's the biggest team we'll play. Wagler is, I think he's the freshman of the year. Honestly, I think he could be the player of the year. I think he's that good. Pretty impressive. I told Brad I think it's because he didn't get ruined by the media, by the fans, or by the coaches, because he was no 5-star, 10-star McDonald's this. He was I don't even know if he was a Burger King. I think it was a Subway. You know, he was a guy that was a 3-star and moved up a little bit, but you got to give him a lot of credit and them a lot of credit because he's a very, very impressive guard. He's got size. He has, you know, you talk about quarterbacks in the NFL, you always hear the story about the game slowed down for him, you know. Since Boswell's been hurt, the game has actually slowed down for this kid. He handles himself really mature. He seems like a great kid. He can pass it. He can shoot it. He can take his time and get 46 against Purdue, and he can just be a passing guy and get some against somebody else. So I've been extremely impressed with him. But the size across the middle with Merkovic and the 2 Ivisic brothers is impressive. And then, of course, you know, with Stojakovic, that's a kid we recruited a little bit. His dad played in the league. He is a very good player and has really played well moving into that position now where he's, you know, got more freedom with Boswell out of there. So between those guys and then bringing Davis into the starting lineup now and Humrick House, who hurt us a little bit last year, is coming off the bench like a 7th man, and he's a pretty impressive 7th man at 6'9", that can shoot threes as good as any of them. So, best three-point shooting team I've seen that's come in here. The best size team that I've seen come in here in years and years and years, maybe ever. So we have our work cut out for us. Last year, we did get them twice. They were very good. I thought we played really hard, and that's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to just guarding. We got to get the ball in the post a little bit more. I don't think I'm worried about whether they man or zone. I think we've attacked both of them okay. I just care about whether we play the level we got to play. Questions?
More with Jeremy, with everything that you said the other day about the potential for sitting him. Do you plan to do that? And two, how does Divine's injury affect your handling of the point guard spot now?
On whether I sit him out for a while, I mean, it has nothing to do with it. I'm not that small. It would have nothing to do with Divine. It would have nothing to do with anybody backing up. I've looked at everything with Jeremy, and I can't say like you normally do. You know, I talked about not starting him, bringing him in, spend him for a half. And then I looked at the whole situation, and I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. And that's the honest to God truth. And the only reason I'm not is because I got to make sure that what is recorded is always different than what actually happened. And this whole thing started with the game before, which I think some of that was blown out of proportion. I did not like the backward kick, okay? He was pushed, he did that. Sometimes those are reactionary, sometimes, you know, did I talk to him enough? And then, so the next day I had a come to Jesus meeting with him again, and I think for the time I was with him, I think he understands what's going on. You know, when you look at a kid and you make decisions on your own kids or somebody else, you have to look at the whole picture. And the whole picture for me is a 3.1 student. Oh, that's probably not legal to say anymore. I don't know what's legal. He's had no injuries. He's done absolutely zero off the court. I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with him in the classroom. I've never had a problem with drugs and alcohol. All the normal problems that you have. So does he get overhyped? Does he get a little bit in that way? Probably. And but do I think it was like it was said, words were used of trying to hurt somebody in that? If I thought that, and most of you know me pretty well, he wouldn't be even here. And that's all I'm going to say on it. You know, I do have some decisions to make, and I could make them playing them from the start, playing them 10 minutes into the game, playing them at halftime. I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just trying to do what I think is right and fair from what I know of the kid. And listen, does he have to grow up? 100%. Did he have to grow up last year? 100%. For other reasons, you know. But if I look at what he's done, how far he's come, and what he's been through, there's a lot worse that I've been through than that. So I'm really not going to answer any more questions. I don't mind you asking me that. But this is about Illinois now. It's about my team and my decision. You can create your own philosophy on whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. But I promise you, this is not nearly what it was made out to be in the first place. And so that calculates other things that go on after it. And does he have to learn how to compete without competing that aggressively? Yeah, I've done some research with other people that have gone through things like that, and I think I have a pretty good handle on how I feel about it.
The second part was less about the situation with Jeremy, more about the situation for the team.
Yeah, I thought you meant, is that going to play into whether I do anything? Yeah, long term, no. You know, I mean, listen, our two top transfers, one played a week of practice in the summer and was out, and the other one got hurt now, and that's a shame for them as much as it is for me. As you say, Caleb playing now, there's no question he'd be playing, you know, because he can practice, he can do everything. Does that mean no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for the benefit of me or somebody else. I got to do what's best for him, and what's best for him is to have an extra year of eligibility. And I don't know if he could go full go right now anyway. But in Divine, you know, I mean, listen, Divine had to get better and was getting better. And that's what's happened with most of these guys that come off of being with another team or learning the new things. It takes a while. It takes half a year. and he was playing a little better and starting to learn what we do, and it's a shame for him and for us. But you know, I have enough guards that might have to play a little different, but I will. I'm not. That's not going to be the reason we win or lose games, if you ask me. We have to get our key guys playing well, and we have to get maybe the last 10 minutes of Cohen, the whole game of Cohen. We got to get Jackson back to what he's already done, and the same with Coop, guarding people the right way. And I think adding Jordan into the lineup gave us something, because he shot the ball pretty well, but he just does so many other things. You know, his sense of urgency is off the charts, and I appreciate that, and that works well. And you know, like we always say, when one guy goes down, you know, I'm not a big believer that next man up, because I always said if the next man up was as good as that guy, he'd be starting. But I do think that you know, Trey had a stretch there where he played very well offensively. And yesterday, you know, we talked to him a lot about now getting his defense on track. And so when one guy goes down, it's a tragedy for that guy, but it's an opportunity for another guy, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
I wanted to ask similar about the three-point shooting. You praised for Illinois and how they're able to shoot, and I think all 5 guys can shoot for them. But I wonder with the
6, if you want the truth.
6 too, yeah.
Yeah. Every guy that plays for them, in fact, it's 7. They play 7 guys. All 7 of them are shooters, but the 2 coming off the bench, Hammerhaus and the other Visic, are, how do you say it? Him too. They're all, some of those are better shooters than the guys that are starting. So yeah, it's an incredible shooting team.
But I wonder with the first half, especially against Minnesota, the way they're able to shoot, and some of that is just a hot night happens. But I wonder with
some of that is how they shot, which was a little surprising to us, because they weren't shooting that. They were shooting 31 or 32% from the field. Some of that is how we guarded, and that's a little disturbing to me. I could use better words than disturbing, because I did not like the way you know, we guarded. Our bigs didn't guard very well, and our guards were okay, and so I put more of that on us and me and scouting and everything, so we're going to have to do a better job of that, to be very honest with you.
Do you think you can get more of a focus, I guess, from your guys when you have a poor performance?
Yeah, you know,
it's apparent to them, right?
I get calls, you know. It's the funny part of the job. I mean, we're 19-4. We were 19-2 a couple days ago. We played a very good Michigan team that played well that day. We were right in that game most of the way. We lose the game. We went up to Minnesota, and I knew it was going to be a firestorm, because of they had played like 7 games that they lost by a couple. So we did not take them lightly or anything like that. But we're 19-4. We're not 4-19. And I told you guys, and I told our fans, and I told my family, you know, there's a lot of basketball left, good and bad. We're not going to go probably lossless. You know, there's going to be a lot of losses yet, and I still believe the same thing. And if that upsets people, then don't like me, because I give you the truth. And then when I give you the truth, people are surprised when it happens. So, look at, disappointed how we played in that game. That's about it, you know. That's about it. I mean, we lost 3 games to teams that are like 60-3, and we lost to a team that deserved to beat us that night, and we did not play well, and they did, and that's it. Last year we had 2 wars against this team. I do think they're better. I do think they're potentially maybe could be the best team in the league or one of the best in the country. They're ranked 5th. They are, like I said, well coached, and their size creates a problem no matter what. Now they don't, ironically, they don't throw it in the post all the time. They score it, they're 7-footers, they're shooting threes with the best of them. But I think we will play better. I think I think everybody, you know, we lost a little focus because I listened to too much noise. I get too upset about things that happened after that game, and that's my fault. That's no player's fault, that's my fault. And I should know better than that. I've had that happen one other time in my career, and I beat myself up over it. So we're going to get more focused on the task at hand. I'm not concerned with that we didn't play good in one game, and I'm ready to go.
Tom was wondering, other than maybe being a little more difficult to pronounce their lineup, how much different?
I just go with numbers.
Well, that's fine, I would too.
It's really easy, you know.
But how much, I guess, where do you see the big differences between this year's Illinois team and last year's team?
Yeah, that's a fair, good question. A lot more shooters this year, and their bigs are more, you know, Johnson played there last year, and he wasn't, you know, a shooter, and can't remember who else. And you know, what separates them, I think, from everybody else, they have a definitive go-to guy. I mean, he can get you a shot at 6'6", 6'7". He can get you a shot off the dribble. He can get you a shot off the pass. He can get a shot off the rebound. I mean, the best thing they do is you'll never see a team go harder to the boards than maybe my team with Antonio in them. I mean, I've never seen four guys bulldoze their way in there. It's beautiful. I love it. It's they do a hell of a job of it. And the only problem is they're doing it with 7'2", 7 foot, 6'10", 250, 260. You know, they're not doing it with athletes. They're doing it with grown men that are getting in there and getting rebounds. And sometimes they don't even score in there. That's the hard part. Then they kick it out to open threes because you're putting everybody in. He's done a hell of a job with the group.
You mentioned Trey a little bit earlier with Blind Out. Obviously, it could be more for him the rest of the season. How's he hung in there mentally? Where he's a senior, hasn't always, you know, been in the rotation or whatever. Now maybe late in the season you might have to call on him. Has he hung in there?
Did you say Divine or did you say
Trey with Divine now?
Yeah, you know, all honesty, he has hung in there, and that's the beauty of it. You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, every player thinks they should be the greatest, and sometimes there's disappointments. Frankie Fiddler went through it last year. He started half the year. We started Trey all summer, and the first, I don't know how many games, more than a couple, right?
Yeah.
And then since things just didn't work out that we needed, and but it wasn't like he moped or, you know, and we had meetings with him. It'd be kind of cool if he came on and had a great finish. Frankie had a pretty good finish. Didn't play as many minutes as he was playing early, but was very productive and very efficient and very useful to help us win a championship, no doubt. That's the way I'm going to turn with him. In fact, we're probably going to have Frankie give him a buzz now because he kind of went through something similar. And but Trey's attitude, family's dad's here a lot, has been great. And we've been honest with him on why, you know, and so he got a shot in the arm, you know, like I said. Somebody's problem is somebody else's opportunity, and I feel for Divine. It was tough. I think, you know, he said it best, you know, when you get something taken away from you, maybe the sense of urgency and the appreciation goes up a few notches. If that happens, maybe this will be a blessing in the long range of what he does.
Just a detail on Divine, is it, how do we classify it? Just a foot injury, or is it a break, a sprain? You know,
No, it's a break. It's a break. You know, I don't have all the medical, but it was the fifth, and you know, the one that doesn't get as much blood, and so I'm sure there'll be surgery. And
so it's a bone in the toe, fit in the tarsal.
yeah, you guys, that journalism, you don't take anatomy ever. You know, it's right here on the outside of your foot. Even a dumb youper knows that. No insult to you, but yeah, it's a small bone in your foot, and it's a pretty basic surgery. I mean, Thomas Kelly had one in each foot. Mateen Cleaves had it. It's pretty basic. It just takes 2.5 months or more to do.
For 2 more, we'll go Graham and then Jack.
Yeah.
Cohen's a pretty self-aware guy, and I'm wondering, when you have a guy like that, he knows what he needs to do and how how do you then get that out?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a talk with Cohen's mother today. It was really kind of interesting, you know, and I always tell Cohen he's too nice a guy. You know, I wish he'd come at me once in a while. You know, I enjoy that, as you guys know. I'm a masochist. And, but I wish he would. And sometimes he just accepts things, you know, and I thought the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, he looked like a guy with a sense of urgency, a little more selfish, a little more this and that would be okay with me, my staff, and every player on the team. He's a wonderful kid. I mean, you know, but he has a lot more he can give. And if you look at his numbers have really improved, except his free throw shooting. I mean, he's shooting 40% from the three. He hasn't taken a lot in the last 5 or 6 games. He's shooting 50-some% from the two. But he's still shooting like 50% from the free throw line. And I think subconsciously sometimes that limits him from doing things because I'm going to get fouled, you know. That's my psychology report on that. It's not his or somebody that's really into it. It's just my way of looking at it. And so I think this helped him. I hope it helped Trey. I mean, the only way that losing is beneficial is if you get something out of losing. And we'll see what that does for Cohen. But we need Cohen Carr. We need our big four, you know. I mean, we got everything we could get out of Jordan. And that was a great to start the first time and look like he was still playing in high school. I mean, nothing bothered him. It wasn't, you know, his personality was great. And most guys like that are laid back. But if you see when he plays, he's not laid back. You know, he has a sense of purpose and urgency that I think someday he's going to be a great, great player. And so, you know what? We had a bad game. We did not play well. And, but the other team played really well, shot really well. And you can say, well, we weren't guarding them. You're a little bit true on that. That's what I'm disappointed in. But they still had to make shots, and they made some shots. I promise you, when you watch the film, they made some shots.
Jack, last one.
Tom, we talk about getting Cohen to take that 4 and make it 40. We've seen what the team can be. How do you get the 13 minutes against Michigan and put it into the first half, so the last 3?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question, except this. 13 minutes against Michigan, there was probably 25 minutes against Michigan, you know. We had a couple minute stretch at the start, and then we had the 4-minute stretch for the half, and we had the couple minute stretch at the end.
I just mean that 13 minutes you were great.
Yeah, but we're not an elite team that can do that for 40 minutes, I don't think. And yet, you said it best. You've seen what we can do. I mean, we've done it against some of the best teams in the country, including them. And so I know where we can get. It's the consistency of it. It's getting everybody on the same page. You know why? I spent some time with Jax today. You know, he just hasn't shot it as well. I mean, he was shooting 58 and 45 from the 3, and you know that's gone down now. You know, I mean, some of it is teams cover him differently. Sometimes it's him. I mean, this is a long season. There's better players than the ones here that are playing at that other level where they play 5 days a week that go through tough times. You know, and as the old saying says, tough times usually don't last, but tough people do. And we've got to be a tougher team tomorrow. We got to rely on our home court. We got to rely on our fans. And we got to stick to basketball. And so I'll close with Jeremy that I said at the beginning. He's played some of his best basketball in a lot of ways. Okay? Then something happens that I don't condone anything that goes, but there's always angles. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a great example. The Cohen Carr foul on the 3-point play, when you look at it from a different angle, you'd say, how can a great official, and I thought the one that made the call was great, make a call like that? Well, maybe his angle was a little different, you know, and sometimes what you see on TV or what you see, it depends on how you look at it. I don't condone anything a player does to put another player in jeopardy of being hurt. There's going to be things that go on in a game on both sides that happen. And competitors are going to compete. And now there's somebody checking him right now as he walked to school, as he wrote on a piece of paper, as he went to the bathroom, as he did everything. And maybe he deserved that, okay? But I think we've got that under control and the best we can. And everybody knows what's going on. But I'm not going where one thing gets public and then I'm going to change the impression of my guy. I mean, Mateen Cleaves made a mistake after the Michigan game. Read my lips, I'd die for him. Hear my voice, I'd die for him. Okay? So this thing about trying to injure somebody, that's insulting. That's insulting. Being a little bit too, let your emotions get to you, that's factual. I'm going to deal with the facts, and I'm going to handle it accordingly. And I already have. If you don't think this has already been handled, it has been handled. But if you think I'm going to give in to let you think that I've got some loose cannon here, and the guy does 95% of everything right, not only his play, but is off the court, is in the classroom, his body of work deserves something. And I'm the only one that knows that. And I'm ready to be taken to task like I was last week, like I may be today, or like I may be tomorrow. I will make the best decision for that kid first, and for me and my program second. And I say that because I think I know the kid well enough that he's done a lot of great things, and he's playing pretty well. And nobody was playing better than Cleaves, and we did what we had to do then. That was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, okay? And times have changed, but so has what happened changed a little bit, you know? So it's taken up too much of my time, to be honest with you, but I don't brush that stuff under the rug. I mean, I search and define everything that happens in my program, but I can't react like people, or I can't let people paint a picture that I don't think is the same picture. I don't have any idea. I have no idea. But I did talk to Nico right after the game. He didn't say a word to me. And I don't know what he said to you guys. What did he say to you guys?
He had a statement, I mean,
Yeah.
he basically said he's, you know, a good kid, sometimes he gets carried away. They were aware of it going in.
His assistant coach's brother. Yeah.
His assistant coach, what?
Coach Jeremiah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, those guys all, you know, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'll coach my team. Other people can coach their team. I don't say anything about anybody else's team that I don't know about the individual. And people want to say something about mine, that's all good, but I ain't going to change my opinion of my guy. Jeremy Fears has gone through a lot since he's been here, more than most people go through in a college lifetime. And, you know, I've been critical of him a lot. I've watched him grow. I like the trajectory he's growing at. If there's a couple of rough edges, I'm going to curb them just like I have many before him. And, but I'm good with it. All right? Anything else? Appreciate it. Thanks.
Just talking Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State coach.
Yeah, and once